Undoubtedly, many young people are lost and frustrated with information overload. The marketplace is complex and can be overwhelming, but it doesn't have to be. As the founder of MTV Coaching, Michelle Perchuk addresses the change in the job market and the troubling trends present today. The workplace is evolving at lightning speed. Many applicants need the help of an expert to match their skills, interview successfully, dress appropriately, and craft powerful images and build their LinkedIn profile. Michelle deals with pressing issues professionals face today and how to differentiate yourself and how to build connections in the business world as a recent college graduate. She helps you identify your values and how you want to live your life and work you want to do and be happy doing. A member of the International Coaching Federation, Michelle Perchuk is an author of an influential book on the state of contemporary recruiting called Swimming in the Talent Pool, which is a product of interviewing over 30 C-suite executives of companies like AIG, New York Times, Scholastic, and Citigroup. Now, most of all, she has compassion and offers support to her clients as they build and develop personal goals, careers, and lives. There are many coaches out there, but few lead with empathy and courage. The kind of courage that it takes to keep going after 9/11, start a business during the recession, and rebuild a two-family business after Hurricane Sandy. The biggest decision you will ever make is to allow her to help you. Now, please enjoy this interview with her. Hey guys, welcome to the interview with Michelle Perchuk. Now, Michelle and I have met because we both enjoy health, wellness, and fitness, and she became a client of mine. So we share that common bond of coaching. What's really amazing during my time training Michelle is that I watched her go from working in a corporate world to becoming a phenomenal coach. So, Michelle, we've been shut in for a while now, and I've been kind of staying sane by sticking to my regular routine and throwing myself into more work. But tell me what you've been doing with your family.
Hi, everyone. Good morning. Very nice to meet you. I've been doing a lot of fun projects with my family. I have a teenage son. We obviously spend the whole day together. My husband is an essential personnel individual. He's a pharmacist, so he has to go to work every day, and that's been challenging during this crisis. But while my son and I are home, we are putting together projects. We're cooking together. We're embracing what I do for a living. We're embracing his distance learning with his school. I've actually even gotten him some supplemental art classes online, some aviation classes online that keep his day filled up. I mean, we put a schedule together every day like we used to before. And that's our way of controlling the reality, just taking one day at a time.
Nice. Now, as your fitness coach, I have to ask you, have you been keeping up with your fitness and what have you been doing?
Well, I have to admit in front of everybody now that I have not been as regular with my fitness routine as when I go to the gym and work out with my personal trainer. But I do make an effort every day to do something. So it's either taking a 5-mile walk if the weather allows it. It's doing some exercises that you luckily are posting on Instagram. I've done some extra videos here and there. I've even had days where I would run up and down my stairs 20 times, twice during the day. But for me personally, it's my way of gaining control of my day and not laying in bed and not feeling sorry for myself a little bit and not saying maybe tomorrow, but really starting off the day with doing something physical, which lifts the energy, and you wind up having a productive day. If you wind up starting your day in a lazy fashion, lingering with your cup of coffee, watching the news, it's all bad news over and over again, guess what? That's how your day is going to go.
Absolutely. There are several things that you mentioned in that I'd like to just highlight. The idea of setting up a routine and control and how important that is. because there are a lot of people, like you're saying, they're sleeping in, they're waking up at some random time. They lost that sense of routine. They lost that sense of control or the ability to influence over it. How important is that in this entire process?
I think that there's so many things going on in the world today that we really have no control over. But at least while we're in quarantine, we have control over our family and our life. And look, I'm not going to say that this is not a chaotic time, but New Yorkers, people in this area are very resilient. Most of us have been through 9/11. Most of us have been through the mortgage crisis, and most of us have been through the blackouts after Hurricane Sandy. So we know how to survive and we know what it takes. So this is just one of those things that happen in life. And the way that we can gain control of our life is by planning our day, by taking control of what we actually can influence. And that is our fitness routine in the morning, starting off, bringing in some positivity into our lives as much as we can, maybe staying away from the news or maybe looking at the news for 5 minutes a day just to be updated. But make this a fun experience as much as you can. Learn some tasks that you never had the chance to do. Well, now, guess what? There are no excuses. You're home, you're in front of your laptop, so stop scrolling through Instagram, but maybe learn something new.
Absolutely. Those are some really great tips for individuals out there. I like the idea of planning and utilizing this time to think about the things that you've always wanted to do, to think what that next step is going to be. But planning is paramount, right? So I'm not sure about you, would love to hear, but my family here at home, I've been spending a lot more time with my family. It's crazy. And to think that that's such a crazy concept just shows us how hectic or how, you know, outside of what should be the norm, our lives typically are, right? So on a regular basis, it's waking up early, getting to work, working throughout the day, and then coming home later in the evening and barely seeing my family. This has given me so much more time to see them, spending a lot more time sharing stories, talking with each other. Tell me how this has impacted your family. Maybe this wasn't such a huge shift for you. I don't know, but has this brought you guys together?
Well, we're a very close-knit family to begin with. Some observations I'm making is that we're not uh, having little spiffs or little, arguments here and there. We're kind of all like on one page. And I think that that's where planning really helps. But I also am not reacting to certain things like I used to because um, the time management is really important while you're in the house, but I'm not spending time out there commuting or sitting in traffic. I'm in control of my own environment. So I have all the time in the world with my family now. I will admit that I was a little bit agitated in the beginning. We're trying to be very resourceful, not waste paper, not waste the resources that we kind of stocked up in the beginning of March. And, a teenager doesn't always understand that. We're also trying not to spend money doing online shopping. So I had to explain those things. But whenever I would start to get a little bit agitated, I would actually practice gratitude. And I would stop myself in the middle of my thought of getting agitated or, nervous about a certain comment that was made to me. And I would just be grateful for my home, for our health, and for us being together and being a family. There are a lot of people out there right now alone that don't have a family, that don't have a comfortable home. And I personally feel that there's a lot that I have to be grateful for. And I'm sure each one of us can find something to be grateful for. Health is number one. We take advantage of that so often.
Absolutely. That's very impactful. all of us can find something to be grateful for. That's really important. So you're a bit of a cook, a chef, and your son David is quite the chef himself.
Yes.
So food is such a big topic right now. I've been talking to a lot of clients. Some clients have been stocking up on junk food and have been reporting that they're gaining weight, while others are being really resourceful and cooking the leaner items that we typically recommend, right? And sometimes there's a moment where there could be some indulgence, right? What are you guys doing, and how has food and eating been impacted for your family during this time?
So we actually are having a blast cooking, and planning comes into that because we have to plan what groceries to get for the week that are going to take us through the meals. And, it's 3 meals a day and some snacks as well. So I have to make sure that everything is there because we're not taking out.
Yeah.
My husband kind of made this declaration that even though he wants to help the local businesses, but he would really prefer, because we don't know if we're isolating ourselves, then if you're ordering food out, you're really not isolating. You don't know who prepared the food. So look, if he's out there, I try to give him lunch to go, but if he has to buy something, he will. But we actually plan out our food. And planning out our food is an exercise that we all participate in. And every time somebody introduces a junk item or something extremely caloric, then it actually gets nixed. And we always go with the leaner choice. We've discovered some amazing recipes online that we've been able to duplicate at home. We did buy a couple of kitchen gadgets, so we're baking muffins now. We're
Cool.
making fajitas, which we never did before. We're actually doing a lot of old-fashioned recipes that my mom walks us through on FaceTime.
Nice.
Or they were very complicated and we never wanted to learn them. But now it's been super exciting and very, very tasty.
That's
So
awesome.
the planning of the meals and the cooking together has really been fun.
This is great because, you know, it goes back to a lot of the stuff that you were mentioning earlier, which is finding something positive, right? Attitude of gratitude, being grateful. And those are so many things to be grateful for. It's bringing you guys together in ways that sometimes we've never imagined when we're in the norm, right? But I think this should be the norm, right? So if we could find a way to transition to keep this as a part of our daily lives, wow, how amazing would relationships be? How amazing would our health be? Love it, love it. So I have a couple clients that have reached out to me, and I'd love to be able to get advice from you because this is your wheelhouse. This is where you thrive. They've reached out and have expressed that they didn't start their fitness routines because they're experiencing turbulent times, like a lot of us are, within their career. So I'll give you the first client. This individual is now overworked because the workplace is what she feels is taking advantage of her. And because they are taking advantage of her in a way where they're asking her to extend her hours, 2 hours, 3 hours past her normal work time, they feel they can get away with it, she thinks, because these employers are saying, well, nobody wants to lose their jobs, and if I ask you to do it, they're probably going to have to do it. Now, she didn't start her fitness routine until 2 days ago. And since this started, that's been a long time. She was stressed out, high anxiety, was giving me symptoms that she was experiencing because of it. And I was happy that she finally was going to start taking a few steps forward towards working out, but she couldn't guarantee that she was going to commit to it because of the high level of stress and anxiety. What do you think you would tell her if she was coaching with you, where to begin and to get her on the other side of this?
Look, it's I am very I am very empathetic to people who are in those types of positions. None of us want to be in that type of a position, and it is a tough spot to be in. but every tough spot has numerous perspectives. And the key is to look at a stressful situation from a different perspective. And the only way to do that is actually to keep up your energy level. She's doing the right thing by exercising, by keeping herself healthy. Because guess what? If your health goes, you're going to be even more stressed and you're not going to have the energy to come up with a plan. But to really, another way to combat her situation is to not look at it as just all stress and turmoil, but to take advantage of this time to come up with a plan. And it doesn't have to be a grand plan, but it's maybe taking 15, 20 minutes a day to think about her future once all of this is over. Maybe taking 15 minutes a day to meditate and to quiet your mind. Because people who are stressed, they're like on a runaway train. The stress just keeps on escalating. And the more the train goes downhill, the more the stress just builds up. Take a break during the day. Assess the situation. You have your health, keep up the health with your personal trainer. Keep up your health with your diet and with the food that you're eating, keeping your immune system strong. And then start setting some plans. Get in touch with yourself, what your values are. What do you want in life? And once this individual starts making those steps, they may seem small, but the impact is huge. Then they will feel almost like an elevated sensation where they're gaining control of their life and they actually are going to start seeing a possible solution.
Nice. I love the perspective that you provide, which is really about a perspective shift, right? These individuals, this person is in it and they can't see beyond the fog. They can't see 5 feet ahead of them. So you're asking them, step out, take a step back, breathe, do the things that you know make you feel good, because this will help them get to a part of their brain where they can actually say, okay, I can now think, right? Because these individuals aren't really processing it very well. And then go from there. I love, assess your values, right? What are your core values? What do you stand for? Because if they're looking at a situation where they feel that the employer is taking advantage, like you're saying, this is the best time. There's not going to be any better time than to reassess and evaluate what else you want to do. Awesome.
I would just like to add that, what I'm suggesting that individual do to kind of calm her mind and develop some plans, that's not an easy task to do. It's unfair to say, find the inner strength, do this on your own, read some empowering books. That's not easy to do. Yeah. Because most of the time people have a negative dialogue going on in their head, especially with all the news and people getting sick and people passing away. That's where a career and life coach can come in, because that provides that supporting hand that you could reach out to on a monthly basis, on a weekly basis. It's almost a guide that can take you through a difficult time and help you develop tools that will help you in your life going forward. Yeah. Some people will look at this crisis that we're in right now as the best thing that ever happened to them.
Yes.
Because they were in a situation where they were home, they were quarantined, and they needed to make some major decisions. If they weren't quarantined, they would not make those decisions.
Right, because their backs are not against the wall.
Correct.
There's another individual that I'm thinking about, which is the complete opposite. So they just lost their job. And because they lost their job, they expressed that it's hard for them to keep up with their fitness. It's hard for them to eat well because they're kind of like in this shock. And yes, they signed up for unemployment, but as we know, there's a big delay in that process and they're stressing out even more over that. What would you say to this individual to help them get over this hump and get them out of that freeze mode that they're in right now?
Sure. So when I work with people on career development, some kind of transition in their career, finding a new job because of a loss of a letting go situation at work, whatever. There's a ton of reasons. The number one thing that I tell people is the following phrase: it's a full-time job to find a new job. So even if you're losing your job during this crisis, doesn't mean that this is where you lay down on the couch and you put things off. Because if you're going to put things off to when this is over, guess what? 30% of the population is going to be looking for a job, and you now have a ton of competition. This is the time when you use that planning tactic that we spoke about before, where you plan out your actions. You plan out your actions by setting aside 8 hours a day where you are spending on looking for a new job. And it's not like just going through the job postings. That could be very tiring. Mm-hmm. It's just having a plan. It's whether you want to do a certification online, depending on what your profession is. It's whether you want to really make your resume shine and stand out. It's whether you want to revamp your cover letter and make that stand out. It's learning different tactics of how to pass an interview like a rock star. What are the type of questions people are asking when you're going through your interview process? This is the time to really develop yourself and to almost develop a superpower. A lot of people are not doing this. A lot of people are just saying, well, this thing is over. I'll hit the pavement and look for a job. But guess what? They will be with everybody else. To this person that's losing their job now, my number one advice is take this time to make yourself a better candidate than you ever would have been. So that when things do open up, you'll be in the top 10%.
Powerful. So a lot of these individuals that might be watching this right now, if this applies to them, they're not going to know where to start, right? They're on YouTube or they're on Google trying to figure out a lot of the pieces that you mentioned. And that's why it's really important to work with someone like yourself, who's the professional who literally wrote the book on it, to be able to guide them through that process. So I heard that you are doing a coaching marathon.
Yes.
What is that exactly? It sounds pretty cool. I love the coaching and marathon together. I'm thinking fitness, but I'm sure it has to do with career. So what exactly is it and who is it for?
Okay. So my coaching marathon was born out of the idea of, as I'm sitting home and I am, working with my existing clients, I just did not feel that my expertise was creating an impact to the world. And I wanted to create something that had urgency. Therefore, I named it a marathon because I'm in a hurry. I need to get to as many people as possible. I've put a deadline of May 30th or a little bit earlier than that to get to 100 people. But guess what? If I need to extend it and get to 500 people, that will be very powerful for me because I will give some powerful tools to these 500 people that will make their life better by having a coaching session with me or by engaging with me in a coaching program that's going to change their life. I started this marathon. Everything is pro bono during this crisis. Coaching could get very expensive, and I know that could be very stressful for people now. They're not sure where their salary is. They're not sure where their savings are. Look, guys, I'm here in service to customers of Body Culture. I've seen many faces. I've heard about a lot of people, from Thomas, from George. If we don't help each other during this time, if we don't show our humanity now, then when are we going to show it?
Yeah.
So if you have any issues that you want to talk to, as long as it's not therapy, if it's career development, life coaching, I'm there for you. Feel free to reach out.
Nice. So someone out there right now is thinking this is exactly what they need, and they're just curious, what is it going to look like after I sign up for this? What's it going to look like in that coaching session on the other side? What should they expect? What should they be ready for? Do they need to fill any information out, any forms?
The easiest way is to contact me. I know you'll provide all my contact information. Go on my website, check out my bio, many testimonials that are there. People reveal how my coaching has impacted them professionally. Check out the website. Like I said, the coaching marathon is pro bono. You don't have to pay a cent. What you need to do is contact me by email. We'll schedule a time and we'll do a conversation by phone or by Zoom, and it'll be a discovery call. And at that point, depending on the insights you're going to have, we will decide if we will continue working together and what that will look like. Or I could just leave you after the 1 hour, maybe make a couple of suggestions, give you a couple of tips. You go out there into the world, try it out, try it on. If you need more support, my door is always open.
Beautiful. I think even if they take that, and I encourage anybody watching this right now, take the discovery session, okay? At the very least, walking away with 1 or 2 tips is the stepping stone to the rest of this process that Michelle has pretty much laid out. What I would say though is don't delay, don't wait, because I know you're gonna get booked up and you won't have enough time slots to be able to fill. But as you said, you would extend it because you truly do want to help as many people as possible. But remember what Michelle said earlier, which is don't wait, don't delay, don't take your time when trying to find a job. There's no greater time. There's not going to be a better time than now when you actually have a reason to do it. Awesome. Michelle, thank you so much for doing this. This has been eye-opening. I might need your services after this is all said and done as well. So I appreciate that I have a direct line to you. Thank you very much, guys. I'm going to put Michelle's information all underneath this video inside of the post, her website, as well as her email address and any other information. So peace out, guys. Thank you, Michelle.
Thank you, guys. Thank you. Have a great day. Thank you for having me.
Be well. Stay safe.
Thank you. Have a great day.